Subject of today's video is a John Deere L120 automatic, and the symptoms are it only runs well when on full choke. It is stuttering, cutting out, dying, and is lacking power when you go to turn the electric PTO on. I don't really like to do it full speed. I like to do it about half throttle maybe, and it'll kill the engine. So we're lacking power. I'm suspecting a carburetor issue, in particular a carburetor clog. Just to show you what we're working with here, we got the Briggs and Stratton Intech V-twin engine. This one happens to be a 20 horse. And it is a wonderful engine if in running condition. This one needs a little work, needs a little help. I'm going to get down here. We're going to get this hood right out of our way. There's absolutely no reason to work on a machine with a removable hood with the hood on. We got that. Then we got to get this spring. So for the spring, bring it back there. That releases some of the pressure. I guess I'll just take the bolt off. I thought I could just grab it and pull it around, but it's just a little stronger than I thought it was. Are you metric? Okay. 10 it is. Boy, I am just fumbling with that, aren't I? Okay, I'm getting the extension. I've been fighting it. Why is that so tight? Probably because it's got spring pressure on it. Okay. Now that spring's off. Turns out I got one on the other side too. Who knew? Not me. But this one has a bigger release tab, so you can actually get it off by hand. Maybe the other one was broken off. Now how do you come off? There we go. I wasn't happy about it, but it let go. Those, get a close up there. There. It keys out the front. That's full choke. About half choke. Anything less than half choke, she just dies. Let's see what we can do about this. So what I want to get at is the carburetor bowl there, but I can't pull the shutoff off or unthread anything because that bracket's in the way, and the bracket's bolted there, and this thing's in the way. Let's get this off first. And that includes getting off the first thing I took off there. That side was already loose. And this stuff is a bit warm from having to show you, having to run it to demonstrate my problem. Is what it is. Just try not to grab it. Try to remember. There we go. That buys us a little bit of opening. Gains us a little access. Now I can get maybe these ones on the side. Drop that bracket down. Maybe. Hop, hop, hop. What did that get us? The whole thing? Well, not the whole thing, but enough that we could get at the nut we need to get at. And it just started raining. All right, had a little mini rain delay there. Move the machine over here, and now we can continue. This is the fuel shutoff anti-backfire solenoid, whatever you like to call yours. Now, there is a very thin wrench, which I can't find mine at the moment. They make a special wrench that is thinner in thickness than the normal one. Now, I'm going to see if this one wants to... No. So, I'm going to try it with just a regular wrench. And if I can't really get in there, I'll try to find that other one. Okay, before I bugger mine up, every carb is different. Anyway, before I bugger it up, I'm not going to go for that. It is the narrower wrench that you need. A regular wrench of the size needed does not fit. You have no clearance there. Before I bugger it all up, I took a second look and realized that there's actually screws that hold this bowl on. That thing's just threading into the bottom of there. I don't think you have to take that off. That just maybe threads into the bottom of the carburetor bowl. I don't think so, though, because, well, we'll see. I'll do the carburetor bowl. If the thing doesn't fall down, that thing's probably threaded up into the center. Let's just see what happens here when I do the carburetor bowl. All right, I got this guy pulled out of the way forward. Let's see if we could crack these loose. Yep. Got one for sure. Oh, drop that bolt. Screw. Whatever. This one's a little more on an angle. I suppose a shorter screwdriver would be in order. There we go. I heard it. I heard that satisfying pop. And once I get my fat hand out of there, you'll see the prize. Ah, and the carburetor bolt did come down. So it does, you don't have to take out that solenoid. That's news to me. And of course, she's full of gas. We'll take care of that. So I'm going to get the mirror here, and I'm going to show you what I'm seeing up there. As I said before, I'm trying not to drop this carburetor. Let me get you way zoomed in there. Yeah? Okay, so there's two little jets. I assume one left, one right. Well, this one has completely fallen out. And the way it's held in there, it's very difficult to see, I know. There's a little O-ring on that baby. That's all that holds that. So I'm going to try to set it back up in there. I don't think it's going to work. I think I'm going to drop it 50 times. I think I probably am going to need to take the carburetor off, because I really don't think we need to get up in that carburetor. I think this was loose, blocking one of the cylinders from getting fuel, which would totally make sense with the symptoms we're having. But how will I be able to push that up there? Because it's recessed. Maybe put it on the tip of a screwdriver. I can't see anything though. And that's just what will happen. I'll drop it 50 times and I'm going to lose it in the grass. And it's brass, so it won't pick up with the magnet. Let's just think about all the ramifications of my foolishness and stubbornness of removing that carburetor. Time to remove the carburetor. If I lose that, I don't know where I'd get another one. Most folks would just get a brand new carburetor. That still may happen. Let's see what it takes to get this carb off. Shouldn't be too terrible. Sometimes you just need to take a minute and realize that if you lose all the pieces, you're not going to be happy with yourself. I don't know if this is throttle or choke, but whatever that one was from, I don't know which one this one is. Fuel lines up here. I literally don't know everything that's supposed to come off. I'm up here, by the way. Pre-filter. I guess this top shroud could come off, but then I got to take that off. Okay, reposition tripod coming up. And they got you in here. You see something in the middle of that bowl there? Yeah. That looks like a piece that's supposed to be up into the carburetor. Let me pop it out of there. That little rascal looks like the jet has fallen out of the carburetor. So that could be the problem too. Maybe it's not a clog. Maybe it's more of, not that this carburetor is anything clean. Look in there. That's pretty rusty. Admittedly, this thing only gets used once in a while, but what I'm seeing is that piece floats around. That's interesting. Why is that so movable? Maybe just to help center it. But at any rate, this piece here is not supposed to be falling out of the carburetor. That could be part of our problem, or all of our problem. Let me take a peek at this and I'll bring you back. No turning back now. Get rid of that extension. And here's where it gets more complicated. Get you over on this side. We got Mr. Fuel Pump, diaphragm fuel pump here. And my last screw is behind there. I'm just going to loosen this because these are all open bottomed. You only have to loosen them. You don't have to take them out. So instead of playing with the fuel line and everything else, let's just do that. Now I got to get the fan off so that thing comes up easy. Nice. Hey, no mouse nests. That's a first for me. Alright, I assume this is all going to come off as an assembly, so I'm going to take out the breather while I'm up here. I'm going to take off the fuel line. Rotate this a little so I can get after that clamp. There we go. All right, let's take these carburetor manifold, intake manifold, bolts. Oh, and if I didn't already mention, I had those parts laying here that I surely didn't want to lose. Yeah, while we were taking the shroud off, they disappeared. And they're not right here where they should be. Good news is I haven't moved anything, so they're right around here. But the thing I was trying to avoid happened anyway. Okay, we got a linkage here. Oh, this comes right off beautifully. Okay, and I'm just going to take that linkage right out of there. Beautiful. Now we can see under there. Well, same thing we could see before, but now I may have a chance of actually putting it back in correctly. Good news. I had set them aside. Those are the two screws and the little jet. So now I'm going to see, is there a rebuild kit? I don't think I have any kind of O-rings that small. Is there a rebuild kit for this? Or I know there's probably a Chinese replacement carburetor cheap enough, but I'd really rather keep the original if possible. So let me see if I can find some mini O-rings like that to help hold it in. I don't think those are supposed to ever come out. It possibly only came out because I took the bottom part off. But just in case, I want to see if I can get a new O-ring kit for both of those. Hey, got you back here with me. For me, it's been a couple of weeks, a week or two. And I went and ordered a carburetor kit for the original one. Full disclosure, I also did order another replacement aftermarket carburetor, just in case we get into something we can't get out of. There's that little jet. Outwardly, everything looks okay with this carburetor, but I don't know what we'll find once we get in there. This comes off. I'm going to take this off. I want to see what this gets us. I assume this should be a fuel pump of some sort. Just get some of this dirt out of the way to start with. Less to fall into things that they shouldn't. I just want to see if there's a bunch of junk in there, anywhere that I can see where it's, you know, evident what's going on here, or if it's just the fact that multiple things are clogged a little bit. Because usually what will cause a run-on choke-only symptom will be, you know, some type of restriction that can't get fuel. So the fact that you choke it makes it want to be able to get fuel. So these passages don't look terrible. I can see down, if I look down these two holes, those are the little jet holes that I can see. So those are open all the way up. And then that fuel comes across and goes down into there. Okay. This, not completely sure. But the fuel path is up through here, over through the channel, down. And that, to me, looks like it was making a good contact. Maybe not here so much, but the white, you can see the white from the edges of the aluminum. Maybe this one wasn't tight enough. I don't know. That could be part of it if it's sucking air too. I just don't know how far I'm going into this carburetor. I just want to see something that so far the only thing I saw was that little jet had fallen out, but that could have happened when I took the carburetor apart. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have to correct myself. The fuel pump is actually located on the outside of the engine on this one. So this doesn't have a fuel pump in it. I was thinking of like the case tractors where they have it inboard, inside. Those gaskets there look good. The tube gaskets, as I said, these look to be clear. There's nothing in there. All right, so because I'm not finding a smoking gun of something totally clogged up, the worst thing I see is the tip of this looked like it had a little rust, even though that's rubber. A little crusty there. So we're going to go ahead and take it apart just in case. There's really nothing else to take apart to clean passages. Everything's here. I'm going to take it apart anyway, just in case this gasket might have sucked the hole through or something. And we'll check it. And maybe throw it in the parts washer. I've got a small ultrasonic cleaner. It's real good for cleaning up carburetors, and it'll get in all the little nooks and crannies. If you don't have an ultrasonic, usually carburetor cleaner spraying through there would be more than adequate. Unless it's on the low side passages, which sometimes can be very small. On these tractors, it's usually less of a problem than a true, you know, small engine like a push mower or a weed eater, something like that. Those passages in the fluid passages are incredibly small. And we can see, like this one, we can see that really wasn't getting a good clamp there on this gasket. There's dirt there. So it's probably best we're changing this, because this little plastic intake manifold obviously is able to somewhat deform. And let it suck by. But that's on the intake side. Not good because it's letting dirt into your engine. But it won't affect the performance. What would affect the performance is if you were sucking air on this side and it wasn't able to get a proper mix of fuel, that could change your whole scenario. But this one definitely was not sealing. So probably best I just did what I did, which is get in here and look at things. Now these ones are a very small socket. I think you can use like a regular socket. It's external Torx, I believe. But because I don't have that right in front of me, I could get one. I'm going to try to tell you which one of these it is. 4mm on mine works fine, 6-point. And these studs are threaded into the front there. And that gasket just came off beautifully. Yeah, you can see the dirt there. She's been getting by. Not good. Luckily, it's on the bottom, so it probably wasn't sucking up terrible. No, actually, let's see. Would that be the bottom? Yeah, that would have been the bottom. Oh, right. Of course, that's loose now. These got a nice ridge, so they have a nice sealing pattern. Those were sealed just fine on the suction side. Yeah, there's really not a lot of small passages for the fluid in this carburetor, but that's fine. We'll clean it. We already got it apart. Let's do the whole thing. Is this a gasket or is this a... No, the gasket's on that side. That's just plastic. Okay. And this one just happens to be a Nikki carb. Nikki. The reason I bought the rebuild kit is I want to try to keep it original. So if it ever needs another rebuild kit, you can get one. If you go aftermarket, will that rebuild kit fit the aftermarket one? A lot of times they're pretty close clones, but if one little thing was different, you'd have a bad day. So I'm going to brush this down a little bit and then get it ready for the ultrasonic parts cleaning. All right, see if I can get that little gasket seal off without... Oh yeah, she's dry. It just chipped off a piece off of there. But it's a little bit pliable yet, but except for that one piece that wasn't. And then these tubes, I'm going to get a close-up here. Those tubes have holes in them, these brass tubes. And that would be a likely spot for a clog to happen, would be those emulsion tubes. Just a quick note before I take everything out. That, I was kind of wondering how that was sealed up on there originally. That O-ring is just completely flat. That's the O-ring that goes in there. It's just completely flat from all the years of compression. Try to get that out, will you? Well, that thing's dry as a bone. I'm going to try to get a little pick in there. Might just end up spiking my hand. Makes for good video, though. There we go. Yeah, that's about as dry as you can get. And the ultrasonic will do a nice job. So I just pre-cleaned it a little bit is basically what I was getting at. Do I dare get all this out and take that stuff apart? Sure, just for the sake of the video. The reason I'm taking this out is there's a screw back there I want to get. And I'll tell you what, there's another gasket back there that I'm not sure I have. I've got many gaskets. Unless I come up with something magical here, I don't think I have that. Oh, it is here. No, it isn't here. This is the other one. Sorry, I'm off camera here, but this is the bag I'm trying to search through. So this one is, that's the other one. Interesting. Why wouldn't I have that gasket? Are you not supposed to mess with that? Or did it fall out of this bag? Don't know the answer to that. Well, if I don't have one, I'm just going to pull it out before I use the cleaner on it, and then I'll reuse that one. Be strange if I didn't have that. I think they might have shorted me one seal, but luckily it's still pliable. I will reuse that. I will just take it out so the chemicals do not damage it. All right, to the ultrasonic cleaner. So those that have never seen an ultrasonic cleaner, this is what it is. Basically, all it is just a tank. Comes with a little basket. You put some fluid in there of your choice. I personally like to use Berryman Chem Dip. Link in the description below. What's really cool about it is it sits in there, and this is a heater, and this is agitation. It agitates through ultrasonic waves, and it's nice that you don't have to keep spraying to wash something off. It just, you dip it in there, you leave it in there for whatever, you know, half hour, whatever works for it, and then you take it out and it's clean inside and out, and it'll clean up all this brass, everything. Like it won't harm any metals. I really like it, and it's reusable time and time again. On the side of this, you got this drain plug, and you just put it right back in the can when you're done. It's perfect. I bought this for small parts. This is another thing you can get on Amazon. It's just a basket. You put your little jets in there and stuff. Actually, I'm going to get the jets and put them in there, and then you just throw that in the basket so you don't lose the parts. Got all the carburetor ready. Got the other jet out of that plastic piece. Just put that in there. I got it heating up. I started heating it up while I was still pulling it because it takes a while to heat up. And I found out that I think it also heats up faster if you don't have the agitation on. So if you're in a hurry, probably leave that off until, well, why would you have it on until you put the parts in? But all you do is press that, and it's got a timer. It just makes a bunch of noise and goes up through the parts. The last thing I didn't take out yet is this, which is the carburetor bowl. I want to clean this bowl. It's rusty as all get up. This piece here just pulls up and off. And then this is a plunger. It's a fuel shut-off plunger. And you've got to hold that. It's got two flats. You've got to hold that while getting a thin wrench in there and turn it. Well, I've already loosened it off camera, but that's how you get that off. The reason I took that off is, if it isn't obvious, this is not waterproof. That's an electrical coil. It'll pull it down, allow fuel to flow, and then release when you turn the engine off. So let's get this in there. That's pretty nasty. If that doesn't work, I'm going to use some rust removal fluid to try to get most of that heavy stuff off, because it's not the kind that you're just going to brush off, I don't think. Let's see if this will get it. If not, plan B. Now we wait. So while we are waiting, we can prep a few parts. Let's make sure we don't put our parts onto the ground. Prep all our little gasket surfaces here for sure. And I will spray this, even though it's plastic, just briefly to clean out, because this is after the filter and there is some stuff in there. So do not let it soak. I don't know what it would do to plastic long term. This piece here, I'm looking through it, it's clear. These gaskets here, I didn't receive new ones because this is for the intake manifold, not for the carburetor. But I'm going to just free them of their channel and brush down the surfaces just to make sure we don't have a lump of something in there. Looks like they put something red on there. I don't know if you can see that. Possibly a little bit of glue to help with assembly so it doesn't fall out while you're assembling things. Actually, it's got just a little crimp mark there and a little crimp mark there I just noticed because the gasket wasn't going in. So we'll line up those crimp marks. That's supposed to help hold it right there. That's what that is. Try to get them to line up with what they were. There we go. Nice, nice. Don't know what that red would be for. And again, looking for those marks. Got it. So while the carburetor is in the ultrasonic and the parts are being cleaned, I took those and just gave them a spray inside. I don't worry so much about the outside as long as it's not going to be bad for going back in. I've started selecting parts. You can't see that over here. The parts that I'm going to need. Now, oftentimes these are made for multiple carburetors. These kits are sent out. One kit can go many different carburetors. So we're going to look at which ones we have. Sometimes there's just slight differences and sometimes there's vast differences. So, for example, I can see that one of these must have this deflector plate. Now, I don't know if you'd call that a heat shield, probably, to keep the carburetor cooler. Ours didn't have that, and ours also doesn't have the half moon gaskets to go with that. So ours is the full round port. So it's going to be one of these. Are these identical to each other? Yes. So it's going to be one of those. And then for the other side, these, why they give you two, I'll never know, but I'll take them. Are for, how is that? Here. Yep, that'll work. Perfect. One interesting note, I was just looking at the old one for here. That's the one that kind of failed along the bottom there. They've made this much thinner now, so the clamping area, it doesn't need to push on such a large area to compress. I'll bet you that's going to give us a better seal. If I put that on top of the other one, line the holes. I don't know if you could see, but the extra is down here. And maybe they realized if you made it too wide, it wouldn't push hard enough. So by bearing it on a smaller area, it's going to work better. I don't know. That's my guess. It is different than the factory. Always keep all your parts until you're done. Just my recommendation. Just in case you're missing something. And then, of course, the gasket for this one is obvious. There is only one. All right. All right, I got you zoomed in there on the shutoff valve. And I'm going to try to get the little gasket off there, one piece. See if it wants to. Yes, she'll pop. Good. I'm going to clean up those threads just a hair. Make it easy to go back on. Get that powdery rust off there. Corrosion, whatever happens on zinc plated steel, it looks like. That thing's nice and free, so no reason to mess with that. Okay, so the problem I'm seeing here with redoing this is some kind of a fiber washer, not rubber, not metal. It fits very well around there. Well, just like every aftermarket kit you get, maybe it's the same, maybe it's not. Well, I've got this aluminum crush washer, but it's got a little play, so if it gets off center, am I really going to get a good crush? And I've got this, which also seems to be for a bigger carburetor. So, old trusty's going back in. That's the way we're going to roll. Got you back here with me. Got the carburetor out of the ultrasonic. And like I said, it really, I like the way it like cleans the brass and everything. The tubes are beautiful. I've taken carburetor cleaner spray and sprayed through these holes, which blast out the emulsion tubes from the inside out. Gets any last little bits of residuals. And if you blast through here, it comes out the top. Just blow through all the passages, get everything clean. Incoming fuel into there, same thing. Depending on how crusty yours was, you may have to do it all. Even stuff that I'm not doing very thoroughly, because mine was reasonably clean to start with. So I guess we'll just start in the reverse order, if I can remember what that was, which was this gasket, which I can't find in the kit. Single screw. Not throttle plates yet. The next one was, there it is. Off camera, I should have done it while it was taken apart, but I blew through the bottom one. It'll come out there. The top one, it'll come out. Just to see that that's all connected. Let me make sure I torque that properly, because there is a gasket there. Yes. Okay, this thing, I forgot to take the foam off. Some of you may have noticed that there was a foam shaft seal or dust shield or whatever you want to call it, and it's stuck onto the carburetor. I found it all mushy. That goes there. Let's see if we can figure out which way it wants to tip. That way. And ideally, I would have cleaned that up too in the parts cleaner just to make it shiny, but what's the difference? If you were rebuilding for someone, obviously, you'd want it all looking better than what you see here. Good, getting full opening, full close. We're off to a good start. All right, now what do I want to do next? The top plate? Sure. The more pieces we get out of here, the better. Yeah, this is kind of a bit of a poor design here. I'm surprised that it clamps as well as it does. You have 3 points, and it's clamping all the way over here. Doesn't seem like a superior design. Although, what are these? Is that really doing anything, or is really this the fluid passage area? Not sure what that area does. If you know, put it down in the comments. But I guess it does have, if it is just sealing here, which obviously is where it goes right into the engine, the fuel. So maybe that's what it is. Why we don't have more screws is because they're not necessary. Is why. I can handle the truth. Are these the right screws for this? No, I don't think so. I got 2 of these. Why do I have only that one? Let me figure out my hardware situation and bring you back. Okay, there's something I'm not understanding at this very moment, but I might later. I remember only taking out 1 screw here. These screws, there's no mark from that one. Looks like there might have been something around there. What in the world holds those? Or is just this plate holding everything? So strange. I've got two baby screws and 2 big screws. That's all. Something's not adding up here. Anyway, it is what it is. We'll get there. Okay, here's our pieces I don't want to lose, which is the little jets that go in here. Those are the 2 screws for that. And they have the world's tiniest O-rings on them. I wouldn't know where to get an O-ring even that small. There's no way your hardware store is going to have that, will they? Anyway, it's in a kit. And that one broke, taking it out. So that's how small they are. All right. Let's see what's going on here. And that I don't like one bit. That thing floats around. Can I put it on this side and then it won't float around? Yes, I can. That's how she's supposed to go. Guess I probably should have put those screws in the parts cleaner. A little corrosion on there. Must have had some water in that fuel. Okay. And then these little guys, I was taking off the off camera. This is the jets. I was taking off the O-rings, and my gosh, are they tiny. I'm going to do it over this paper towel so I can hopefully see them once they get loose. Okay, that one's went on. Dropped it. Cool. Nice. Give me a nice satisfying pop. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, let me regroup. I'll be right back. That piece was on the top, yeah. I got that cleaned up the best I could. It's not perfect. Trying to spin that in there if I can. It's kind of hard to get down in there to make it turn. Bring it back when I get it. Got that all put on. Put on this piece. That just pushed down. Now we'll put on the new needle. Now here's what's interesting. If this was OEM, that original one was plastic, which is probably better than metal because it wouldn't corrode. But the rubber tip on there is probably hard as a rock, so we will put the new one. But it's kind of interesting. The plastic may have actually been more desirable in a fuel situation where water could be present. Especially with this ethanol gas. It's killing small engines. Can't let them sit. And my new replacement rod may be the wrong diameter. Or maybe I'm just goofy, but I'm going to use the original because it doesn't matter to me. Needle's in there. Typically these rest about flat when they are at rest. Whoops, that piece came off. Cool. New gasket. Air cleaner side. Let's see, how was this? The nuts are on that side. Okay. Hang on. Before we get ahead of ourselves. Okay. Let's figure out what was the top. That would have been the top. This would have been this way. Just trying to get all my linkages hooked back so I can try to figure this out. Wrong. That probably is not the top. Oh no, things fell out. I hate when that happens. All right, I got the puzzle figured out. I call it a puzzle because it was a puzzle. Getting all the rods. I don't even know if that rod hooks down that way or if it goes the other way. Everything is falling off by me picking it up and putting it down and moving it. And I may have to refer back to my video, my own earlier video, for clarification if something doesn't work out here. No, this way. Just trying to get all the gaskets and all the pieces lined up here. And there, it fell off again. See? Whatever. And that gasket slipped through. So now we got to take everything back out. Trial and error, folks. All right, now we'll get our little socket. Get these started a little bit. Let's see. Gasket. I think we're good. Get a little compression on those gaskets. We've just got plastic parts. Let's not get too aggressive. And I just realized that is incorrect. These go in the metal, and then the nuts hold that air cleaner port on. Back apart. just in case I missed that last bit of filming, I saw the camera turn off, and I don't know if it got it and then stopped, or if I wasn't filming. But anyway, I put the studs with this off. I put the studs into the aluminum piece, into these nuts. Of course, the gasket's in there. Tightened all the studs. Then I put this piece, gasket, this piece, nuts. That's all you missed if you did miss anything. Okay. Probably best if you don't wait several weeks before disassembling something. But I did. Sorry, I gotta adjust my microphone here. Hopefully it's not thumping in your ear. Because then you remember much better how everything went on and came off. In lieu of that, we will reassemble this machine. Make sure our gasket's there. Gasket's on there. Okay, now this rod, okay, that lever, this one, goes on to that. Looks right. Okay. How's that hand doing right in the way of what you're trying to look at? Okay. Everything's looking decent. Oh, wow, that just misses that. Okay, cool. Can't quite get on that one. Sometimes you just gotta go caveman on it. I don't think a ratchet would ever fit in there. Ow! Slipped off. Wrench slipped, that is. I guess that's tight enough. We got her. Good. Okay, I'm gonna put this hose on. Just one thing at a time, whatever I see. That's our fuel. Now I know around the back here, there is this one, which is a breather. For the crankcase, I believe. Good, good. Okay. Get your way down here with me now. Let's put this bracket. What's holding me? Just this? Let me get an extension on this thing. Maybe I could sneak this in there better. Sure can. Okay, plug in our fuel shutoff solenoid or anti-backfire solenoid, whatever you like to call yours. Good. Getting there. This is the throttle control. And we're going to look for the discolored shiny part there to see where it was clamped before. We're going to put it right there. And we're going to be about close enough for most purposes. And that thing is just a little twisted. There we go. And like I said, we're going to put the clip right where the shiny part is, where that was clamped before. The little tang goes in there, top. .5/16, I believe. Good, good. All right, now I guess we'll put that motor shroud back on. Kick ya. Bring you back when I got these bolts on. think that's right. Okay. Now back down to where I took all the muffler off. Maybe that was these three are. Okay. That was easy. What size are those? Would you say? Yes, maybe, if they weren't rusty. I'm going to go one size bigger. Let's see if we got a metric that can do that. Yep. Not sure that's the right exact size, but it fits better than rusty bolts. I don't want to put them too tight, but I want to get them enough. Nothing's ever going to rattle loose, because boy, would that be a noisy mess. Yeah, we're fine. Ah, that's what those little bolts are for. Here and here. Locks down this guard, this heat shield. There's little fingers on here. Hold it most of the way. And that's a different size yet. Lots of different sizes. And then this plate, oops, I wasn't supposed to put those bolts in yet, because that holds down both pieces. That's why they got those little tangs to hold this while you get the other one lined up, probably. Doesn't work. Cool. And then there's two bolts back there. But those bolts are the same ones that the hood springs go on. So I'm going to leave those off for now. We're going to test fire this machine. And we're going to make sure it's good before I put the hood on, in case we have to adjust or redo anything. Alright, let's give this thing a spin and see if it does anything. That's hitting a little bit on that heat shield, I assume, because it's not bolted down. It's going to take a minute because the fuel pump is empty, or the carburetor bowl is empty. running good. And that's with the choke off. All right, this one, I'm going to put a new air filter, new pre-filter, and over here, new fuel filter, and I'm going to put a fuel shutoff there, because then I'll be able to run that carburetor out of fuel when I'm not using it for extended periods, hopefully saving me a carburetor issue in the future. And with that, I hereby declare that John Deere L120 with the Briggs twin engine, Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.